Now, I said I will come and hang out with our leader. How are you? I said, this was grandma. $1 billion.
Female legislators to join me.
Reflect your commitment to our nation and to the democratic values we collectively uphold. For me, this evening feels much like a reunion. This room, I think we have broken the house rule. Anyway, it's a mixture of the executive now, and it's a hybrid, so I think we can do that a bit. This room is filled with familiar faces, colleagues and friends with whom I have debated, lobbied, disagreed at times, but ultimately work side by side to advance legislation that touch lives in all facets of our nation. I remain proud of what we achieved together, and I am even more proud to witness the giant strides you continue to make under the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. In the past few days, our nation has faced a lot of assault, especially as it concerns the future of the education of the girl child. The boys, on the other hand, through the Almajiri system, are deprived of basic necessities like food, clothing, and shelter under the guise of noble Islamic education. This deprivation opens them up to be lured into the wrong hands and the likelihood of being drafted into extremist groups in fake promise of a better life. This is why we must prioritize reforms and restore dignity, provide safe learning environments, and ensure every child has a fair chance to thrive. Tonight presents us with a unique opportunity to explore the future of our children, especially through women's representation across the country, particularly with regards to the reserved seats for women bill that is before the National Assembly. I have watched with keenness in recent months as various interest groups across our beloved nation and even international bodies have gathered momentum in support of this particular bill. The question is the topic of this discussion new? Definitely no. I believe we have gone round in circles on this particular issue for so long. I ask myself, is this bill indeed possible to scale through? Yes. If not today, someday, and absolutely so. But if we do this now, the 10th Assembly will go down in the history of our legislature as the set that stood for women when it counted the most. This is the time to take care of our girls and boys. Across the world, countries that have adopted varying forms of affirmative measures have seen improvements in the quality of governance, the inclusiveness of public policies, and the stability of their political systems. Nigeria can and should also benefit from such progressive ideologies. And in whatever way the reserved seats for women bill may evolve, or any other measure that supports women's participation, I trust in your collective wisdom, your experience, and your patriotism to steer the nation towards a solution that is constitutionally sound and politically workable. Everyone, either male or female, should be given the opportunity to contribute to our shared humanity. Tonight is not for long speeches, it is a moment for dialogue and reflection. An opportunity for us to listen to one another with open minds and to think together about the next chapter of our democracy. Distinguished leaders, I thank you for your service to the nation. I look forward to our positive interactions this evening. Once again, I warmly welcome you all. Please enjoy dinner. God bless the National Assembly. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Your Excellency,
take away from your remarks is that this bill will pass. But the form in which it will pass is what we are debating. Not that it will pass or it will not pass. And I'm so elated and excited that the house that I left behind remains the house of the people. And I heard a resounding no to the question that was placed by the Senate President. So it looks like we're going to be having the bill originally as was intended, that we will be having the gender representation on a state-by-state basis. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas, the Governor of Imo State, Party Chairman, Senators, Deputy Speaker, Senators, members of the House of Representatives. Mine is just to say a simple thank you. But before doing that, let me profusely thank the First Lady for this remarkable idea. I'm going to call it exactly what it is. What the First Lady has done, again, is the first of its kind. Never been done in history. She continues to break boundaries and to fly above what others have done. What she's doing here, again, like I said, I will say it for what it is she is lobbying members. She has come to lobby members of the National Assembly. A legitimate tool, a legitimate way to get things done. It is done in the most advanced democracy in the world. In fact, there's legislation supporting lobbying in America. And I believe she has disarmed all of us, both the House and the Senate. Let me remind us that she is one of us and she is a former member. The bill that is on the table is an equal opportunities bill. I want us to look at it from a different point of view, or a different way, from the constitutional aspect, so that we can justify the bill. In our constitution, we have what we call federal character. But many of us have narrowed the meaning of federal character on the basis of ethnicity. No, federal character goes beyond ethnicity. It's talking about the character of Nigeria, the makeup of Nigeria. And a fundamental aspect of that makeup is gender. So it's not just about ethnicity or about religion, but also about gender. So we've given ourselves another reason why we must pass this bill in conformity with the federal character of Nigeria. Like I said, mine is to thank you, but in thanking you, I must also recognize the challenges that you face and commend members that each time these challenges come up, you continue to rise to the occasion, thinking only of the best interest of Nigeria. The theme and subject matter, like I said, is gender inclusion and women representation. I remember when I was in the House, that was the time when we passed the Not Too Young to Run bill. There was a lot of opposition to that bill, even from within, but we were able to persuade each other that that bill augurs well for Nigeria. It is the same way that I want to thank you in advance, because I know that you have persuaded each other that this gender parity bill augurs well for Nigeria. Legislation is not static, it is dynamic, and we must continue to tweak it and move it along with the changing times that we live in. I tried this same bill when I was the Speaker of the House. We came so close. We came so close to passing it. But then close doesn't cut it. And they say nearly does not kill a bird. But I believe with this dynamic, more dynamic than the 9th Assembly, I believe this dynamic 10th Assembly will finish the job. So I thank you in advance. Honorable members, honorable colleagues, it has been said that this is going to be a sumptuous bill. It's time to, I believe, get to the less important part of the business now that we have passed the bill. But because I believe we have the National Assembly here, and I believe this bill has been passed. I want to thank you on behalf of the First Lady, on behalf of a dynamic woman, on behalf of a woman who continues to push the envelope, continues to do things in not in the same way that we're used to, who continues to reach out to everybody, continues to think outside the box. I want to thank you all for attending in a very short time, with the short notice that was given to you, on a Friday for that matter, when many of you, because of your dedication to your constituents, will always be in your constituency, that you are seated here today, gathered today at 7:30 p.m. on Friday night. Kudos to you. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
The National Assembly is in truth a family house. It is where we learn the ethics of collective struggle, where we differ without division, and where we remain bound by a covenant to protect the destiny of our nation. A family house is where you do not abandon when you take on new responsibilities. Its badge is not something you drop at the gate of another office. It lives with you, becomes you, and guides you. That is why this gathering is just a reaffirmation of our shared identity, a convergence of custodians of Nigeria's democratic conscience. This is why I am profoundly honored to share in the glory of this great evening. Perhaps to state the obvious, the entire architecture of the presidency today is anchored by the proud alumni of the National Assembly. His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is one of you, a senator of the Third Republic. The First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is one of you. The Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila, is one of you. The Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadija, is one of you. And of course, the card with 9 lives, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, is also one of you. And I, standing here today, do so proudly as your brother, flying your alumni flag without apology and without hesitation. Now this explains why the relationship between the executive and the legislature has been a harmony rooted in leadership, foresight, and collective resolve. And I say without fear of contradiction that this is the best working relationship these two arms of government have enjoyed since our return to democracy 25 years ago. Democracy does not flourish in the chaos of discord. It thrives where there is understanding. It survives where there is familiarity with what each arm is designed to achieve. It blossoms where each recognizes the intersection between power and responsibility, between authority and accountability. Her Excellency, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, understands this deeply. Time and again, she has demonstrated not only that she is a proud alumna of the National Assembly, but that she remains committed to protecting your interests, nurturing your dignity, and uplifting your institutional relevance. This occasion, in every sense, reaffirms that commitment. You are not taken for granted. You have never been taken for granted, and you will never be taken for granted. The true essence of democracy manifests not only in respecting the legislature, but in appreciating the indispensable role each arm plays in the architecture of governance. It shines most brightly where there is alignment of purpose, where the executive and the legislature, despite their distinct constitutional mandates, are united by an unshakable resolve to build a nation that works for all. This sense of purpose has been the foundation of our partnership. It is anchored in His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's understanding that no government can move forward without the National Assembly. And this belief is shared by all of us, privileged to sound around him. The audacious reforms this administration has undertaken, from stabilizing the macroeconomic architecture to repositioning Nigeria for global competitiveness, owe their success to your cooperation and patriotism. You have placed the nation above personal interests. You have resisted the temptation of populist shortcuts. You have embraced the difficult path of restructuring an economy weighed down by decades of departed choices. And today, the early signs of macroeconomic recovery are already trickling down, gradually but steadily. This has rekindled the confidence that Nigeria is on course to becoming a prime destination for investors. But my brothers and sisters, we know the journey is far from over. We recognize that the threats to our national security are potent enough to unite us. None of us is immune to the devastations of the crisis we inherited. Our promise to deliver a safer nation is a solemn covenant with the Nigerian people. And to fulfill it, we must continue to work hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart. Now is the time for each of us to summon the wisdom of our forebears who taught us that nations are not built by the comfort of consensus alone, but by courage, sacrifice, and shared responsibility. So let this dinner be more than a social event. Let it be a testament to our collective resolve to steer Nigeria towards a horizon where peace is stable, prosperity is shared, and our democracy becomes the pride of future generations. Distinguished and honorable colleagues, you remain the guardians of our democratic soul. Your sacrifices remain the quiet engines that sustain our nation. So tonight, we welcome you warmly, not just as lawmakers, but as partners in the eternal project of nation building. And this eternal project of nation building requires of us, demands of us, expects of us the resolve to respect, value, cherish our wives and sisters. I don't need to talk much, but I believe that every society, the respect that that society generates to the opposite sex is directly proportional to the advancement and development of that particular society. So I urge you, my distinguished colleagues, to lend a voice of support to the clamor for representation of our sisters in the National Assembly. So, distinguished colleagues, you remain the guardians of our democratic soul. Your sacrifices, I want to re-emphasize, remain the quiet engines that sustain our nation. So tonight, we welcome you warmly once again, not just as lawmakers, but as partners in the eternal project of nation building. May we continue to stand together for progress, for unity, and for the Nigeria that must rise beyond the ambitions of its past. Let's back up the idea of the First Lady. She's a force of nature. She's a committed mother, sister, and a wonderful politician. She's a very generous lady. And what she's advocating for is the same issue that I am advocating for. We are on the same page. And Baba Ijesha, you must support that cause. I want to thank you most sincerely from the bottom of my heart. It's like a second homecoming to me. Most of the senators, especially the rankings, not greenhorns like Senator Yar'Adua, but the ranking senators, like Baba Ijesha, yeah, we are on familiar terms. I want to thank you most sincerely. And of course, the return of the Godfather. The Godfather is back on the beat. Senator Adams Aliyu Oshomole. Please stand up for recognition. Senator Adams Aliyu Oshomole. Thank you so much, my brothers and sisters, and I wish you a wonderful night. But lastly, I want to apologize for coming late. We had to represent Mr. President at the burial of Maulana Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi in Bauchi, and we are coming straight from the airport. Please accept my sincere apologies. Your Excellency, accept my apologies. Thank you so much.
Honorable Abdul Hussein Ahmed. We recognize the presence of the Executive-Legislature Francis. We recognize the presence of Honorable President Lawrence of Korea, Honorable Dr. Anu Fari. Presidency, Honorable Barrister,